Oh, yes, episode 11. It's Rosetta. Yeah, it's kind of a filler, but it's okay. Burnham's afraid. Adira references Captain Pike. Book dresses like Kanye West for some reason. We're bringing all that down. And plus, Jake Giles is back. We're going live after the jump.
This episode of Commander's Log is brought to you by Geek Renaissance. Need that special gift for the nerd in your life? Love supporting small business? Look no further than Geek Renaissance. The artist, Sephra, makes all items by hand and will boldly go to the final frontier for your unique gift. Head over to geekrenaissance.company.site and use the code FLOBITO, that's FLOBITO, to get 10% off your order. Don't forget to follow, like, and share Geek Renaissance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, yes, jump complete. Captain, on the bridge. What's going on, Captain John?
Yeah, hello, Mr. XO. It is number one, Flobito Boyce, Mr. Boyce.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you flying the craft while I just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yes, we are, man, on the USS Post show. You know, we're talking about Discovery, episode 11 of season 4. But after this, Picard is getting some love on the internet thingy. True or not?
You know, Weber Internet Thingy on Facebook. You can find us there. You can also find us on YouTube. And yes, Picard season 2. You and I discussed this. Were we going to do a recap and review show for it? Were we going to have anything going on for Picard season 2, or as we like to call it, Picarder?
Puns.
Yeah, baby. And you're a free man. You can go wherever you want.
I would hope so. I mean, 400 years of oppression. I hope I'm free.
That's a weird thing for me to say. I'm sorry.
I got
you. You have options, is what I'm saying. I don't. The hype got me. The hype got me. It basically said, season 2 of Picard going to be a lot better than season 1. You're probably going to dig this. It's going to be some Terra Prime hijinks. Going to be a lot of 7 of 9. You're going to see some good stuff. And so, yeah, they got me, and I'm in. So we're doing a recap and review show of Picard season 2, Picarder, and that'll happen over at Weber Internet Thingy, YouTube, and Facebook.
T-minus 60 minutes from now, if you're watching this live. If you're in the audio version, check out Weber Internet Thingy. But we're not about that. We're talking about Rosetta. But of course, we're not alone. We had to bring in the big guns for this one. My guest in this episode, and I have a very tumultuous relationship because he sends me memes back and forth and things I don't know what to say about Star Trek because I'm total new about it, but I don't hate him for it. Please welcome from the Elder Millennials podcast and many other things, my favorite Midwestern hillbilly hick, Jake Giles. How's it going, sir?
Jake,
you talking about these guns, Flobo? These guns?
Oh yeah, man. The gun show is always open. The big guns.
Good heavens! Why
What's
are you
up,
guys
baby?
packing such small calibers? What? I'm sorry. What?
Hey, now, John. We all know it's not the size; it's the shot group.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Oh, let's. So Rosetta, we're at the penultimate to the penultimate episode of this season, and it's kind of a filler episode. Doesn't mean some things that happened that was fun. Jake, let me start with you. What you seeing today this week? How you feeling the season so far? How did you think this episode this week?
I really liked the episode. What I've seen of it so far, like I said before we came on, I only got through about 38 minutes of it because it's been a long week.
Oh yeah,
a lot of work, man.
You know, I mean, the captain told me that I had to take all of my leave time, and you know, he said I had to go to Risa and enjoy it, but I decided to go on an archaeological dig in the Bajor system and work myself to death.
Damn you, Vash! Always pulling in the boys, that Vash.
But no, I really liked it. Does Michael have the worst luck with men, or what?
Honey child, I tell you, she sure know how to pick them. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, happy relationships do not make for a good Star Trek. We find that out not only in this series, but in Picard as well. Little teaser there. Yes. Yeah. Relationship drama is standard, though not without its hope, right?
The man crush between Q and Picard has never been anything easy.
Before I get to your opinions of the episode, John, Craig Robinson's in the chat. He's like, "Hey guys, what a complete
Craig!
waste of an episode." And I actually inclined to agree. It was kind of fun to see that excursion, but I felt like that should have been a B plot elsewhere. But that to me, the mission, the away mission, was kind of stretched thin. Because again, well, about TOS we love so much, at least I do, is when the crew goes down on some planet, backdrop, stage set, sound stage, and does some stuff. And that's what we got here. But it doesn't feel like it was kind of stretched out. John, thoughts about the episode?
Yeah, I can't really argue with the sense of it being stretched out. I can say that I like how they did that because, as I've said, I see this season of Discovery, season 4, as being so much about alienness, strangeness, and it's what you don't see coming. It's what you don't know is going to happen that really creates the story. So we got a lot of that here. We are in a different universe. We are dealing with life forms. We have no idea how they communicate, no idea what they are. This species 10C. This did get us closer to that. But it's very funny how in the episode you have a lot of people, including Ruan Tarka, including Book, including the general of the United States of Earth. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, you General Ndoye?
General Ndoye, and she was amazing in this episode. And here they are going, this is a stupid side quest. No. We should not be wasting our time with the plot of this episode. Just no. And that's really interesting that you've got people in the episode saying what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
This one was padding. This one was packing peanuts.
Yeah. This was a collection of B and C plots, Jake.
I'm inclined to give them this episode. They haven't had any fillers this season.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, but I feel like I'm in the minority when I say that. I feel like it was pretty much tight storytelling, except for today's. Today it was like,
okay, well,
bro.
I have to change my opinion now because Flobo and I are never allowed to agree.
Yeah, we know. What are we doing? Show's
That's
over,
what
guys.
my co-host Josh said.
Where am I?
My co-host Josh had said the only reason he has me and Flobo on together is so that Flobo and I can argue. But look at me, I have a Halo tonight, so you know.
Nicely done, by the way.
Let's talk about side quest upon side quest. You see, you got Tarka and Book with a harebrained scheme to go onto this simulated blind spot so Zora won't see it. And, you know, it does feel like that stage play with like the one scene and you talk about things that are happening off stage a lot. But the idea there, John, was them to have reverse Die Hard, reverse heist film. Were you on board? Would you think it was a crazy idea that Tarka had? Where were we on that one?
You know, I do feel like we're in that tension period where you're pulling the string back on the bow. Jake, you've aimed a bow and arrow at a wild boar, I think.
I've aimed a bow and arrow at something.
Okay.
All right.
It was
The
a squirrel.
CIA
as a
won't let you
child,
talk about it. We get it.
It was a squirrel as a child, and the bow and arrow was the stick and a shoelace. But I get the point.
That tension that we're dealing with in pretty much the last half of this season, they keep wanting to build that and build that. I like the human element and the fact that they do the heist, you know, to sneak the little doohickey to put it on the wall so that now they can hide their ship on the Discovery while Discovery gets inside the, okay, I already can't remember. It's called the hyper bubble or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that hyperspace bubble they have, that species 10C is inside.
Right.
So I get that it's a lot of setup, but the human element is you've got these forces that are going against each other within Discovery and just alongside Discovery in the case of Book's ships. And that's interesting. I find that tension very interesting.
So, Jake, it's the first time you're on Carana's log this season. This whole storyline with Book and Tarka, are you on board? Is it kind of like too much? Is it not enough for you? Where do you land on this?
I'm biased because I've never really liked the character of Cleveland Booker.
I forget his name's
What?
Cleveland. You don't like Discount Idris Elba?
What?
I mean, he has a little accent. He's kind of attractive.
Idris
Yeah.
Elba.
Why not?
It never gets old.
Why not?
But no, I just what is it with Michael Burnham and getting with whiny men?
I mean, if
Oh,
you've seen it in outer space, the pickings are slim, honey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, everything she does, every relationship she has is with a whiny man that is constantly going to cause her trouble.
I
True.
don't
Yeah.
see whiny. I don't see whiny.
Oh, he
I
doesn't
do
see
see
whiny.
tortured. I do see,
Oh, no.
constantly depressed.
Let's go back to the half Klingon and talk about whiny.
Ash.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right,
Well,
Ash.
so when you say whiny, though, I mean, Booker's planet was blown to smithereens, Jake. I mean,
How
Yeah.
often was he there?
how often was he there? So hold on. If a giant geyser just like envelopes the middle states of America, you're gonna be like, whatever. I flew over it once. Is that
I'll
just
get
that-
over it.
That's terrible.
Well, I mean, there has been situations where I've said, oh well,
Okay, there you go.
disaster.
All right.
But
then.
no, I mean,
We know you have say la vide once or
Yes.
twice in your day. That is true.
but it's a disaster like that isn't a reason to completely lose your noggin.
Well, I would be
And
inclined to
I
agree.
think at this point, Burnham just needs to beat him over the noggin with something, possibly a gigantic duranium strut.
This whole season's been about what would you do for your family, but not for Jake. Get over it. Just go back to another planet. No, I'm just saying, look, I go back to Green Lantern when Cyber Superman blew up Close City. Your hometown's gone. You want to be able to fight for that right in your family? Not whining at all. I'll give you the Ash. Ash was definitely like molested and possessed, but he sounded more whiny than Book. But Book is gone through. His planet was gone.
I mean, we're that really is the thing that they try to stress over and over again. Can you imagine your home planet, your actual home planet? You can never go home. Can you imagine it being taken from you? And no, we can't imagine that because the Federation is pretty much centered around Earth for most of its existence. So to us, it's always the home team,
Yeah, we had the whale probe.
Yeah.
Oh, the whales. Yeah. Classic reference.
Twice with the Borg.
I mean, Earth is different. Earth has problems.
I mean, Earth has been attacked. That's absolutely true. But if it was taken away,
everybody forgets the Xindi probe.
Yeah, Earth needs to get over it. But
check out Florida.
Yeah. Oh no, where can I get my overpriced drinks? So one of the things about their plan, though, even though it was a little bit kind of a harebrained scheme, is that General Doye is actually on board by the end of it, which I didn't think was going to happen there, John.
Well, she was on board at the council meeting.
Correct.
Right, where they were raising their hands, and then the computer was going, "You raised your hand."
True, but she was going to stab Book for a bit. No, she was like, "Hey, I'm going to stab you. Give me one reason why I shouldn't stab you." He was like, "I have an idea." He goes, "Okay, I'm not stabbing you." Right?
Wasn't that cool though? General Cap'n. That was cool.
You got to respect a diplomat that shows up to a first contact with a hidden knife ready to stab somebody.
She's a general. It makes
to Earth.
Sense.
Yeah. She is totally exemplifies everything this planet is about right now.
And she's taken no foolishness. That's the thing that I loved about her.
My sword is actually ceremonial.
I wanted to ask you about that, Flobo, when she was like given the look to everybody because she was not happy about this mission going on down to the planet. Mm-hmm. I was just like, does that cut right to your very heart? Because it does for me. I see a disappointed woman look at me like that. Boom, that gets me.
Go ahead, Flobo.
I thought it was gonna be a heel turn. Like, you don't tell Earth no. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing where like Earth has been like the id here. So I thought she'd be sad in that moment, and I was thinking she would have her own plan. I didn't expect the whole Tarka Booker thing and them dovetailing. That was something that came out of nowhere for me.
I mean, when she gave that look, it was like I was expecting the low blow kick from MJF on CM Punk last night.
Wrestling references on this show? Unheard of.
But I will say that the look itself didn't really affect me because for 40 years I've been getting that disappointed look from women. So
Wow. I mean, if you've been more sensitive about planet exploding, maybe they might come around to you, Jake. You know?
or just not be fat and bald.
No, I'm fat and bald. It works all the time. People love to call me teddy bear. Well, also speaking of people that we love to see, Jet Reno makes an appearance and basically was like the common thread through all these storylines here. Eventually having the last minute gotcha. No offense, spoiler alert, Jake is getting there involved in Tarka and Book's plan. So, John, two questions. One, glad to see Jet Reno back. Do you agree? And two, she had a lot to do this week.
Isn't it interesting? We have been exposed to so many different kinds of relationships and such a diverse a group of people. And one of the key relationships that happened in this episode was Tal, Adira Tal.
Yep.
And Jet Reno sit down and have a conversation. And a lot of it ends up being about Detmer, which is hilarious. Because I'm sitting here going, wait, am I watching that lesbian show that was on Showtime? It's like,
that's a whole different.
This is lesbian talk, man.
This terrible. I was so disappointed with that.
You mean Friends?
No.
What's that, Jake?
I said, you mean Friends?
No, I'm disappointed with Friends.
Oh.
No.
I completely misread that show.
No, he's talking about that. Okay, no, I'm saying is I did not like that for a bunch of reasons, but let's get into it. Adira Tal is adorable. We get it. But the last person she admired is no longer on the show. So I'm like, well, you're admiring Detmer. Is this the end of our helmsman? Helmsman person? Did you get that far, Jake?
Where I stopped was when they all turned off their suit filters.
Okay.
And touched that. I guess I want to call it either a cocoon or a cryo chamber or something.
Okay, they literally say it's a cocoon. I was thinking out loud all day. I was fun to say it. But back to Jet real quick before we move on to that. That was our A plot this week. It's always cool to have Jet Reno there. I didn't realize what division she was in, and I saw her uniform. Okay, yellow, great. But yes, it did feel like she was kind of the voice of reason throughout everything, and she seems to be more witty than most of our bridge to figure out that there was a distraction there, to figure out Adira's distracted. I think I want more Reno.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And Leo Genesek brings it up. Yes, the show was called The L Word.
It wasn't Friends, Jake.
I am not complaining. I'm just saying it's so interesting the connections that are made that haven't been made in 4 seasons. Like we haven't seen Jet and Adira sit down and talk. And it is, it's layered in a lot of ways. I do love her on the show because as much as any of us as comedians, as show hosts, we love Tig Notaro because she's very funny. She's a great comic. But she's also a really great character on this show because with as much pearl clutching and white knuckling as everyone does, she's just always like, I don't know, man, this is just stupid. Can we just get past the stupid part?
Yeah.
Just be practical. And she's an engineer too. So she's just all into like, look, just fix it. Just be practical.
Well, I consider Reno to actually be the chief engineer on Discovery. Because Stamets is not an engineer; he's science division. So
I agree.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's
and Reno is one of those kind of characters. She's going to bust people's chops, but if something's going on her ship, she's going to find out.
I'm so glad that when we were rewatching some episodes, we rewatched the episode Flobo here on Commander's Log where we meet Reno because it's such a great reminder of like she stayed to save lives on her ship. She put herself in tremendous danger because she cares about her crew. And she's like, they're my crew. Why would I not sacrifice everything?
Absolutely.
And that's Starfleet, baby. That is what Starfleet's all about.
There were such cool things and moments that make you go, hey, look, this is Starfleet, this is Star Trek, which I really liked. It so happens it was like a very big bag, like chips. You know what I mean? Some good chips in there. There was a lot of air this week. This is not Not so bad.
It was
Speak,
Munchos.
it was,
Remember
yeah.
Munchos?
Oh, whoa, dude. I was the Utz guy, but yeah, Munchos brought it hard. Brought it hard.
That was a delicious chip, but you get like maybe one big one,
Yeah.
or maybe
yeah,
like
yeah.
6 little ones. You
He
don't get a
called
lot in the
dibs.
bag.
He called dibs. Stress-free K says, yeah, Reno's going to help Book stop talking from effing everything up. Thank goodness, because he tried to
That would
hide
be
out
nice.
from Zoro. That'd be a whole problem altogether.
That would be super
Yeah,
nice.
that also tells you exactly how much Tarkin fears Zora, that they went through all of that to hide Booker's ship.
I would be
Oh,
too.
wow.
What is Zoro? Sorry, I'm not going into that. I know they're people too. They're sentient life. I'm just saying. Couple quick hits before we get to our main plot of the week. Culber isn't okay, and we'll get to why he's not okay. But he comes around and realizes towards the end with Michael that, hey, look, I've been holding in these things for a long time. Things are not really feeling quite right in the gut. And really realize this because growing up, we would drink a beverage called Mobby. Didn't know Puerto Ricans had it too, and it's called a Mobby. And it's the same similar beverage. Wow, culturism, guys. Anyway, John, Culber, HR problem. Want some time off? What's going on?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I do love that it has been very consistent throughout the season that we have people who are not okay and they don't magically get better.
Mm-hmm.
And they work at it too, but they still don't magically get better.
Well, and I think it's just a cumulative effect on Culber at this point because he's been taking care of everyone, including, trying to be a parental unit to Adira.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Gray, for that matter.
Yeah. And, Stamets tries, but Stamets is very not good at that.
I can relate. I'm terrible with kids.
And Stamets being a genius is a great balance too, because he's really good at some things, but he's got to really work at others. And
Also can relate.
You got to love that. That's a good story. That's a good human story.
Yeah. So really, if I can put it into current day terms, I think Culber just has emotional burnout.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I was looking at the price of Munchos. I mean, those sure are delicious.
And as Captain Michael Burnham herself says, how could you not?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm messed up. How could you not be? Like, we totally cut you that slack. I think all of us in fandom totally cut him that slack because let's face it, he's still a great presence. One of my favorite scenes. Hopefully I'm not jumping too far ahead for you, Flobo.
Jump all the way, baby.
They're on the alien planet and you're looking at everybody and they're scared to death. And there's a line of them and he's in the foreground and he's smiling.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's Culber. Because Culber's like, this is so cool. No human has ever seen this. This is so cool.
He has worked himself up into being tied for the number 3 spot of my favorite Star Trek doctors.
Wow. Wait a minute. What are your top 2?
Yeah.
My top 2.
McCoy.
yes.
McCoy's number 1, right?
Yes. McCoy's number 1.
And the doctor from Voyager?
No.
I don't love
Voyager.
the EMH?
I hate Voyager.
Well, you can hate the show, but you can still love Picardo.
And those of you that are watching that want to nail me on it, right down here.
Go ahead.
Tweet me and cuss me out. I don't
at
like
him.
Voyager. My number 2 is Phlox.
Everybody's got a right to be wrong.
Then my number 3 is Culber tied with Bashir.
Wait, hold on. Culber tied with Bush? I feel they're so different. How can they be tied?
Because Bashir got in there just because of how just momentous his arc was throughout all 7 seasons of DS9.
Okay.
And Culber has already really started like this whole arc that I think by the time Discovery is over is going to be ridiculous.
And somehow Phlox is better than both these men? Are you kidding me, bro?
Dude,
bro, what are you doing, bro?
I'm happy Phlox has a fan. I'm just happy. That
Phlox
just
can
makes
make
me
his face inflate.
Okay, he's a cartoon. All right, props.
He's like a big puffer fish.
Oh, man.
Okay, but your least favorite doctor is Pulaski. Am I right?
It's either Pulaski or it's the doctor from The Cage.
Oh wow, that's like so. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue with your opinions as long
Lu-
as they are.
luckily, they're not going to use him in Strange New Worlds. It's going to be Dr. Mbega.
Yeah,
Okay,
that'd be
well,
very
what?
cool.
Why not? That you were saying, John, before I get to the A plot, my two quotes of the week. One comes from Jet Reno, who says, "No one is always okay, kid," to Adira. And one, my new favorite character, Dr. Harai, is like, whether they worry about tomorrow or not, it'll arrive the same. Which is actually a Christian scripture, Matthew 6:34, if you guys believe that kind of stuff. So it's kind of weird. So let's talk about it. There's this whole planet that looks like there's a little bit of remnants of species 10C. Not sure why they have a letter designation here, but that's besides the point. Because, quote,
Flobo, it's because the Federation uses a letter number system,
correct?
while the board would just call them species 18743.
That's the reason why. That's why I have you on the show. I have no idea what we're talking about, guys. So let me know in the comments below. All right. So no, I'm kidding. That's probably
Sounds right to me.
Sounds right. I figure in the year 3000 they will have something beyond 10. Is my
Well,
anyway.
and of course the Klingons just call them Hatebach.
Wait, you can speak Klingon too? What can't you do, bro?
You know what? I
Plumbing.
I'm from the 70s, so when I hear 10C, I just think of the band 10cc.
What is this? I'll look this up.
The things we do for love. The things we do.
Oh yeah.
I just got you demonetized. Sorry.
No. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
I've been John. I've been further back than that this week. I've been hitting Jim Croce all week.
Nice. I gotta agree with Craig on there. I actually have that in my notes. The right stuff walk down the hall. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you actually put yes in there?
I did.
So this week's mission has them going to the planet that includes Dyson rings made of the DMA material and the former gas giant planet. That's right here was to me was the grid science mystery of the week. I was on board. It really felt epic. I kind of wish it was condensed there. Or what you've seen so far, Jack, walk me through this, man. You've heard people talk about what is at stake with the DMA, going down, taking the captain and the first officer and the helmsperson at the same dang time. Must have been risky.
And the chief medical officer.
Well, I thought Pollard was. Isn't Pollard chief medical officer?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing we need to constantly remember about Dr. Culber is he is not the chief medical officer.
I thought he was
a medical officer. He's just really good. He's just really good.
He's like me. I'm really good at what I do, but I don't want a leadership position.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know. Do I say, yeah, bro? You underachieved, bro. Take a leadership position. Why not? But let me ask you this, man. Just thoughts about this. You have the DMAs are approaching threat, 29 hours and counting, trying to figure out more about this species. Is it when you are looking through this week's mystery, what was going through your mind? What do you think they were going to find when they touched down?
Is that for me or John?
That was for you, man.
Okay. I will say that like every single time since they found out that the DMA is going to hit Earth and Vulcan, or whatever they call it now,
right?
It's always going to be Vulcan.
Navarre.
Yeah, it's always going to be Vulcan to me.
Whoa, that's racist, bro.
I go by Star Trek Online canon, and the Romulans have their own new homeworld on Dewa 3.
That is memory beta, sir.
Actually, CBS says most of it's canon.
Wow.
But I just keep waiting for you guys remember the old 24 show on Fox?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to pop up every time they switch scenes. And
that's a good point.
Don't stretch it out anymore. Don't stretch it out anymore.
But instead of the boop boop, just hear Zora counting down the seconds. That would give her more talking time on the show. But I mean, it's of course it's a convenient plot device. I mean, as always, we all know that they'll save Earth and Vulcan because Starfleet always saves Earth and Vulcan.
It's the future, bro. You don't have to. They blew up Quajon.
But Quajon didn't matter.
I'm saying losing Earth in the year 3000 isn't nearly as high of a stake as losing it in like the 23rd century or 24th century.
In wrestling
That's-
terms, Quajon was a jobber.
Yes.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I love Quajon. It's the druid planet. I love
Yeah.
it. But come on, set up to fail.
Cool
Set
planet.
up to fail.
In wrestling terms, Quajon is a jobber that dresses up the Green Lantern and just gets destroyed.
You gotta
There,
stop
I
with that.
got
You gotta
my
stop.
Green
You
Lantern
gotta
gets in.
You got to stop with that. Stop. No, you know what? You're canceled. Little
The
Genesis
super suit was animated.
has a question. He says, why not go to the Dyson ring? This is my question. Why go to the trouble of even
very
mentioning the
good
rings and not go in there? Which is kind
Well,
of weird.
because they're rings, they're not Dyson spheres.
Which means
There's not a whole lot of habitable space on those. So most likely they're just for power generation. A full Dyson sphere, like we saw in Next Gen, that when they found in the episode Relics where they found Scotty,
All right.
you can actually put an entire civilization on the inside of that sphere.
duh. You
That
didn't know that?
hillbilly's got some knowledge.
You didn't know that,
You gotta
John?
give it up.
I
Give
mean-
it up to that man. Yeah, he spends a lot of time with his still, but he also knows Star Trek.
That was obvious. Okay, so they land on the planet, and it seems like totally the right stuff, right? Venture, swashbuckling. All you need now is a theme song from TOS. Dun, 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 dun. But turns out there's like emo dust all over this bitch, right? And there's like different
Emo
emotion based on what you touch. And it was Saru, the first one, to have that sense of fear. Let me ask you this, Captain. When Saru was freaking out, were you as scared as I was? He was regressing back to classic Saru?
That blew my mind, and I didn't even know that it could happen to the other characters, because we know that Saru's people were prey on his planet. They were not apex predators. And so was he falling back? Was he regressing? It was really scary and very, very well shot, very well portrayed. That was really freaking me out. And the fact that it spread from him to Dr. Culber and then to Captain Burnham. Oh Lord, that was a really good problem.
Flobo, can you put that comment back up?
Leo Genesis said, Ring World is a Dyson ring, Larry Niven.
Well, yeah, but they can't do a ring world.
Well, I mean, not literally. No, they can't.
Well, they can't do a ring world because that would be taken away from the hype for the new Halo series.
Yes, we can't cross IPs.
By the way, every time you watch the promo for the new Halo series on Paramount Plus, are you like me? Are you just waiting for the what is his name? Sergeant
Johnson,
Master Chief.
I always wait for Master Chief to turn around and go, "This is the way."
Yes, yeah.
It's
now
the
you know
damn
that.
Mandalorian, man. It's the damn DeLorean.
Yeah.
So far, that's what
I'm just hoping they got somebody really good to play Johnson, because he's really the funniest character in that entire game series. Well, until he dies.
Let's hope.
You
Spoilers
old men are shaking at clouds.
Spoilers for something that happened 15 years ago in the Halo games.
Spoiler to me. What if you suck and didn't play the first player campaign? Not the point of the episode, though. So having that moment there before we get to the nursery, having that moment there where Cobra tries to treat Saru and gets it as well, and that was that moment where Detmer did not get affected, and I was a little worried that she didn't learn she was like a cyborg or something. Is it? I don't know. My brain was going to different ways. Well, she's enhanced, yes, but you know what I'm saying, a complete like Ariam was. My brain has gone so many different ways. That's why I think I'm disappointed with today's episode. Not because it was anything that was bad. It was just like there were so many cool things that could have gone in different directions that didn't. Anyone agree with that or no? Over my rocker.
I can see what you're saying there. Yeah, I do agree with that. I felt like we got just a little bit of a lot of things. And in some cases that was okay. Like Detmer's story. I mean, yeah, it tells us about the character, but the character in her here and now is so interesting. I don't know why you had to go back to the parental, her dad had dementia or something, which is a horrible thing. I went through it too. But we're being told about it. We're not being shown. So there's some classic, not great writing, and it's luggage. And we know she has luggage. She's on the razor's edge all the time. So yeah, I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah. And then when they met to the nursery area and they saw what they assume were the young and being cared for, species 10C, which I still think is a very low number. Did they reset that number? Okay. Anyway, they care for their young. They're kind of like us. Seems to me it's going to be the opening to find some sort of peaceful resolution. But am I just a Pollyanna, Captain? Am I just looking too good into things?
I hope that we get that answer soon.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
Because yeah, I mean that was the thing. It's like she clearly has an eye implant.
I 100% agree with Craig.
Yeah. It was a weird curveball. It was an unnecessary curveball, which ended up. I mean, I kind of like the thing where she says, I guess all that PTSD therapy I've been doing really works. And that's great, actually, because people with PTSD do need to be encouraged to do that work. And we know a lot of people who have
destigmatize mental health.
Absolutely. And which is another great thing that Discovery does.
Yeah.
Discovery takes you through difficulties. It does not try to push them aside. Yeah.
Yeah, I, for one, was in for a trip.
I have a misbehaving Tribble in the house tonight, so.
Oh, troubles. They said that these are actually caused by hydrocarbons, or their equivalent of pheromones. I guess that's kind of a interchangeable term in this context. They only saw or experienced 2 out of 14. Prediction time. Is there going to be an element we're not going to see in place, or do you think this was totally ad hoc? It was kind of a thing because when Stamets is like, "Oh yeah, we found so much data. This data is great," I didn't believe him. I felt like it would be disposable data. Like we will forget about this next week.
They haven't really done that this season, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's been a very cumulative. A lot of what we've seen and a lot of what we experience is important, and it does stick with the story, which is one of the good things about telling a story very, very slowly. So that's okay. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you've seen hieroglyphics. Even though the Rosetta Stone exists, you still couldn't translate your own hieroglyphics.
Right.
So the difficulties are built in. It is a very, very difficult situation. And I did say this to you privately in an email, Flobo, and I will say it now publicly on our show.
Hold on. Continue.
The thing that I'm counting on, and I hope I'm wrong, is Dr. Harai starts to talk to them and they just kill his ass.
Why? He's a good guy. Is it because his president got in his face about him being himself? You want to see him dead?
Flobo, he's got less tact than I do.
And I like him for it because he makes no qualms.
You get on to me for my lack of tact.
Well, because I don't like you nearly as much as I like him.
I like the tact is a big deal too, because let's face it, geniuses don't really have time for tact. That happens a lot. So the fact that we meet Tarka and now we meet Harai and we keep meeting these guys who are like, look, man, I'm just really full of myself. I'm an expert and I'm going to be a dick.
Yeah.
That's kind of realistic in the world of science.
I'm a guy who walks through my job site, and if somebody's not pulling their weight, I go, "Come on, sissy." And that guy
can't say that. Oh my God!
No sissy shaming, sir. This
is
a Discovery show.
Yeah,
shame.
Flobo's never been on a construction site.
I have, but I don't live stream it to the internet when I'm on a construction site. There, sir.
Like I said, he's even worse than I am.
You know what's weird? All 3 of the people on this show have been on a construction site.
Yeah,
I used to work for my dad's company.
Yeah, the only difference is, John, you 2 were smart enough to get off of it.
Right. So okay, let's talk about the lack of tact. I mean, the president really said, "Hey, man, you're a bit too rough around the edges," and I felt I couldn't tell what it was going to be. It was supposed to be me to be more sympathetic to Rillick because then she probably ruins that by playing the man's Wordle. Or it's supposed to be understanding about how weird Harai is, but because if he is, there are a lot more eccentric characters on that ship. What do you think, Jake?
President Rillick needs to just shut her mouth because she's just as bad.
Well, she kind of is. Yeah, she is. I mean, she's right.
She's got a serious attitude problem.
She is
I
the
don't know.
tippy top, though. She represents the very, very top of the pyramid. So that's interesting that we have that on the ship.
Well,
Vince,
and I get the fact that she's from two. She's
Three.
a hybrid of two species that.
3.
Well, two of the three is what I'm talking about. That are famous for having bad attitudes in the Cardassians and the Bajorans.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
But look, Vance was a jerk last season because he was a top. I get it. Why not?
Vance was a jerk last season because he didn't know anything about the crew or because everything that was about them had been expunged from the record. Rillick is she's just a little full of herself, especially with how she's talked to Michael this season.
Okay, you're starting to riot in the chat here. what are you doing? This is a family show.
What's your name? My name is Captain It doesn't matter what your name is.
That's exactly where I was about to go.
Oh my goodness. Well, to me, just for my own reference, I like the fact that Adira did the Captain Pike reference of a dimmer, fly good. That was pretty rad. That does it for me in my notes. Captain, let me ask you first. Any other thing you want to touch on this episode? Episode 11, season 4, Rosetta.
Let's see. Adira Tal and Jet sitting down and talking is something I never knew I wouldn't love. I would love.
Oh,
I do love it.
love it.
General packing a knife. Yeah, yes, you would.
Yeah, man. It's probably dull.
My aunt used to have a straight razor in her purse. Yes.
Wow, Flobo.
Because there's your.
What about that thing where they have? Is it the blue dust? Because my eyesight's not great. Where like when they touched the blue dust, those hydrocarbons made them feel love, made them feel awesome.
Oh, you mean on the baby chambers?
In the baby chambers, and then Dr.
Well, that's where babies
Culber,
come from, Flobo. Didn't you
Not
know
baby
that?
chambers. That sounds awful.
right before they're about to leave, Dr. Culber goes back over to that stuff, and he's looking at it, and Captain Burnham's looking at him, looking at it, and I'm just like, oh, he's gonna get a whole bunch of that, and like it's a drug, isn't it? And they talked about that. They talked about like, I saw you, and he was like, I know. It was so tempting. Dude, he almost became a junkie.
That's another storyline I want to see.
Yeah, just don't tell the Ferengi about that place.
Seriously. So, or where the Latinum people were. Don't tell
that was
about that.
Yeah, man. That's a life to live, man. Latinum and acquiring things. Love it. But Jake, man, before we get out of here, anything that we want to touch upon?
It's just been a really good season.
I agree.
Agreed.
Like Discovery is a lot like TNG in the fact that it took a while for it to really hit its stride, but I think once they hit the 31st century, they were past. As I've heard some people say, they were past the onesie unitard phase.
And it should be like George will come back again soon enough, right? It's a big fashion circle.
I do love that they went to the future. I absolutely agree. That was one of the greatest parts of this show, to get us to the new life forms and new civilizations, to get us past everything we already know.
Yeah.
The Captain Pike series will be very interesting on its own, but this one has its own space, its own time. I really love that.
I'm really hoping you get some Klingons in Strange New Worlds, because I've been really disappointed in the lack of Klingons in the 31st century seasons of Discovery and in Picard.
Yeah, we talk about that a bit. It is strange that there's nothing there. Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm on a group on Facebook called Glory to Gowron memes. So
yes, you are. That's where the memes come from. I swear to God. About time to get out of here. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, congratulations. You get a bonus episode. John Weber, the captain himself, will be heading over to Weber Internet Thingy to discuss the Picard Season 2 premiere, because Picard is now a robot. Looks like a 95-year-old man. Whatever, man. I don't ask questions. It'll be available live. If you're on the audio version, make sure you search for Weber Internet Thingy on that YouTube. Jake Giles, man, always great to have on the show. I say that to your face on air because I gotta make myself look like I'm some kind of civilized individual. But if anyone want to hang out with you after this, how to go about doing that? Because it won't be me.
Now say that again, because I got hung up on you being Gilbedo there.
Social media, sir.
CWJ host on Twitter. Mags and Sawyer on Instagram. That's mainly the dogs. I don't use mine anymore.
Oh man.
That's pretty much where I'm at now. Don't go to the Elder Millennials Facebook page. We haven't done anything with it in like almost a year now. That's what
That's a
happens when
shame.
you're. That's what happens when your co-host decides he wants to go get an MBA.
Oh,
Could
oh.
be me. We
Flobo
talked
and I
about.
both told him he was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, after a certain age, your brain stops working. Not to say you can't learn stuff. It's like I have no patience to learn stuff over a period of 6 months at a time.
Tell me about it. I turned 40 this year, and that's been the same for 5 years for me.
John, personally, if I want to connect with you online personally, how do I go about doing that?
You can hit me up at Starbase80. I'm on Facebook, John Weber, and you can find us over at the Starbase 80 Facebook page or the Weber Internet thingy page. They are both good.
All right, got time to get out of here, man. We'll see you next week. We talk about episode 12 of season 4. Gotta do it, but you know the deal. Until next time, live long and prosper.